Poof, Treve with the big hitting questions to start off here. It's going to be like, what'd you do this morning? What's your favorite food?
We're going in hard. The fans want the dirty details. What's going on, y'all? We are live. Back again with another hero's journey. Hope everyone's doing good. We have a big special guest today. He is currently saving a family from a fire, or he's actually at a church. Local skater skating by. He's actually at a church saving a family from the church. So that's what's going on there. But he is coming in soon. Don't worry, everyone. He is coming in soon. I'm going to turn this down a teeny bit. Those levels are kind of blown out. Let's see here. How does that look now? Let's see. On the good camera, now it's looking a little better. We got Mark in the chat. What's up, dude? How you been? Hey guys, so the secret's out. We got a really big show. We have a big producer. I would say up and coming, but this guy's been in the game for a while. He is an OG in the game, but we'll talk about when he comes in. But Mark says, "What up, Treve?" Not much, man. Just, you know, another day, another journey, another day, another dollar. So that volume looks very loud in my camera, but we're gonna roll with it. We got Tyler. But yeah, so he is saving a family from a church. But I think he's actually he's here. So we're gonna go right to it, guys, right to this big interview. So all the people have been wanting it, fans have been raving, and so here we have him. We are going live with Mini Sants. So Mini Sants, let's see if this will. There we go. He's here. He's here.
Look at that.
Would you look at that? Would you look at this stud? What's going on, dude? Appreciate you coming on this hero's journey.
Oh, let's go. Oh, can I see the comments? Oh, sick.
You can see him, right? Yeah, we got Mark in there. He's saying he said something. Said, "What up, Treve?" My boy Tyler said, "Beard looking tight, son." Well, thanks, Tyler. Thank you.
Thanks.
Can you grow a beard yet?
I actually had a nice beard until this week. I had a
okay.
and so I shaved it. But yeah, I was going nice with the COVID beard.
You got to do it. You got to do it,
man.
A little something.
Okay.
For the boy.
Yeah, a little something. Yeah, a little something.
Something there.
Looking good, man. Well, you're looking good, dude. You're looking good. So the people know me and you have been friends for a while. We're good old friends. Where did we spend a good amount of our early building of that friendship? If you want to enlighten the people.
Yeah, I would say there was a good amount of team building, friendship building at Mission Beach Coffee Break. Shout out Nick Cantalupo, Christy, Marky P, Adam Hess, the crew, Andy, what's good? Mission Beach Coffee Break and San Diego. That was probably our big bonding time.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, I agree, and that was super fun times. And it was unfortunate when it closed down. You know, that was a sad moment. And
were you working there when it shut down? Not to put the establishment on blast, I don't even know the full spiel.
Yeah, I was working there. Yeah, I mean,
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. exactly. So shout out Nick. Hopefully he checks us out. He'll chime in every now and then. Maybe he'll come on. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, shout out Nick. Yo, Marky P, if you're on here, let's get Nick Cantalupo in the loop here.
Yep. Mark's in here somewhere, yeah. And then we got What is a Santi? Two legends. Yeah, two legends. Who is What is a Santi? What's his deal?
Oh, nice. Sean, what are you doing, bud? How do I... Oh, I messed up my screen here. Stop sharing video? No. Sean's... So I'm in Lavalette, so I'm like Central Jersey now. And he's in Ortley, which is like a town south. But he's
Cool.
A lot of video work. Crushing the bartending scene right now that Jersey opened up. Kind of fully-ish today. Like no mask, no nothing as of today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's killing the game.
You spent a good amount of time in San Diego, so you're kind of you're a New Jerseyan at heart. I know that. but half your heart is in San Diego, right? I mean, is it still? Do you miss San Diego? The chat's popping. We got Mo Mama, we got Ned Skim. It's going off in here. Yeah. So, do you miss San Diego at all, or are you kind of you're back in the Jersey life and you're just just kind of doing that?
Um, I would say I definitely miss 75 and sunny every single day is not a bad life, for sure.
Yep.
I do enjoy Jersey people more. I enjoy Jersey pace of life
Ooh.
more. But I would say being able to surf if I wanted to every day, being able to go outside if I wanted to every single day is pretty dope.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, I agree. It's like kind of the weather factor around here is just it's like the number one draw. It really is just
Groundhog's Day on steroids.
Yeah, it's the
Insane.
best weather in the world.
really. It's like um, it's just crazy. Like even in the whole world, it's like think about the whole world. Like where is there better weather? There really isn't. Like it's weird 'cause it's like a Mediterranean type climate, but it's also kind of aridy.
If
And it
you in
combines.
lab drew up like optimum human like climate place to develop, you're drawing up the weather in San Diego. You know what I'm
Yep,
saying?
yep. Yeah, that's a perfect way to
Room
put it.
temperature, lab setting, fucking done deal.
Yeah, that's exactly the way to put it. It's like I mean, it's the price of admission. Like even here in LA, I'm in Venice Beach now, and it's basically the same thing. I mean, it's the same weather. Um, we have a little more of a tent apocalypse, but I'm sure it's going on down there as well. And it is what it is. I'm not gonna get too much into that.
Yeah, good
But
time. The air's a little more gritty.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. That you can like feel the shit in the air that's like pollutions and the needles of past use floating around, and you're like, trying to dodge them on the beach. But no, it's cool. It's funny, man. Like I've been in Venice for about 3 years now, and I've enjoyed it a lot. It's a cool little spot. It's kind of like Ocean Beach in San Diego, and yeah, I like it, man. It's cool. I got my little surf break right out front. I can just kind of cruise out there. It's super close, super convenient, and really like just it is. You just got to get wet. Like as long as you're getting wet. Chad Willie says Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos. Yeah, yeah. Oh, we got Red Letter. Red Letter. They joined. He joined. You made a song with them, right?
Yes, I actually did a remix. Shout out Justin, for Red Letter like a couple years ago,
yeah.
and potentially they have a song coming out in the future. I don't know if this is low key information. Please stop me if I should, Justin. That I co-wrote for them, so that's pretty cool.
Okay. Okay. Can you dive in a little more there, or is it's top secret?
That's top secret stuff.
He says, I've never met this dude.
Exactly.
So it's secret. Okay, I understand. I understand. Well, cool, man. Well, let's dive a little more into your music stuff. So, I mean, you've been making music for a while, dude. Like, I remember, I mean, shit, what was this? 5 years ago, you had a bunch of music, a bunch of tracks, finished tracks, and I would always, and you'd already been working on them for years, and I would always tell you, like, dude, you need to start releasing these. And I kept bugging you about it, but you would always be like, no, they're not perfect. It's like, no, I got, it's great, but I got to get it more and more perfect. And then finally one day, with this humongous catalog of music you'd been building, you suddenly started, releasing stuff. So what kind of inspired you to take that next step to like really start like pushing your stuff out as like an artist and be like more in the public sphere and all that? Because I know like that was something that you definitely like you should have been releasing music even before in like a broader sense than you were. So what kind of made you really just finally be like, all right, it's game time here?
Poof, Tree with the big hitting questions to start off here. It's going to be like, what'd you do this morning? What's your favorite food?
We're going in hard. The fans want the dirty details.
So there's a long story and a short story.
Let's get the middle version, the medium.
So I think back in the San Diego days that you're referring to, back when I was getting it in and producing out of the garage there at the old apartment, confidence level was all time, like at the floor with that kind of stuff. I guess in the beginning phases when I was like hitting people up to collaborate or trying to get opinions on stuff, or like entering contests, that kind of stuff. There was never any momentum building or like get ghosted a bunch or like half-ass feedback. So like there's no confidence building. But I still enjoyed writing music because it was just fun. That whole time I did it for fun. Still do it for fun. But fast forward to maybe 3 years ago, shout out again, Justin, who was just on here. We got connected. I sent him a bunch of demos of mine, and he was hyped. He was like, these are dope, blah, 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 blah. Gave me like legitimate feedback, ideas, and little wins like that gets the confidence moving. And I was like, oh, maybe like I am pretty good at this, or like, oh, maybe this idea is cool. Fast forward a little bit closer to COVID era, and world changes, lifestyle changes, living in a new place, blah, blah, blah. And same thing, music was like the one thing I was doing. It was consistent. I finally had one song that I felt matched what I go for with music. I was still doing the same thing where I didn't want to put it out. I was trying to like correct every detail and do things I didn't know how to do. And then eventually I just said, fuck it. And I just put it on the internet. And it worked out pretty well. It surpassed expectations for sure.
Definitely, man. I mean, I know, like, and was that first song the first one that went out like on spot? I mean, because I know you know there was SoundCloud stuff, but then like the first one that kind of hit the actual streaming, other streaming platforms, Spotify, iTunes, was that first one the Already Gone song?
Yes. So again, shout out Red Letter and Justin. Already Gone was the first song, that remix, that I ever put out on an actual streaming platform for sale. And that was also because Justin at Red Letter strong-armed me into kind of putting it out. Because I wrote the remix for him, and he was like, all right, we're going to put this out. And I was like, there's a bunch of stuff I want to fix. And he was like, no, we're good. So if he didn't do that, I probably would still be sitting with that thing on my computer, tinkering at things that nobody else is going to hear except for myself.
For sure, man. I know, like, I remember, like, being in that garage in Mission Beach, and you just had all this music, and you were just making so much, and it all, to me, sounded just great. And I just couldn't believe that, like, you were just still, I don't want to say, like, you were scared to put it out, but, like, there was just some apprehension, and, like, you were just, I don't know if I should, but, like, I don't know why, but then I'm glad he finally, like, you know, really got to you to finally put it release, because then I'm sure after that first release you were like, oh, okay, like that wasn't so bad. All right, so now I'll release the next one. Like it was probably like a pretty big moment for you, or was it not really?
It's mixed bag. I still have all the apprehensions. I think in the beginning it was part trying to get approval from people that I felt like, it's one thing if I show something to my friends or my mom or my cousin, like they're always like, oh, this is cool, or like, oh, I really like this. And I'm like, I don't know if it's like I have bangs and you're telling me I have a good haircut, like you're lying your ass off, trying to be nice, or what. So I would always try to get legitimate people who I felt were in that field to get good feedback from. And he was probably the first person in that field where I was like, oh, this guy's legit. He has a history. He has a catalog. Maybe I'm onto something. When it comes to apprehension, I still have a million songs that I don't put out because I get nitpicky. But I'm definitely better about it.
Definitely. And yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you've been putting out a lot of music. And I know for you, too, it's like for me, a lot of times when I have, like, so many things and I'm like, oh, these aren't perfect, but I'm at this weird point where I like to, like, I don't think that I'm wasting work when it doesn't get released, but when it doesn't, then it just sits on the computer and no one sees it. I've learned that you never know what's going to be your hit and your miss, so you might as well put it all out, because a lot of times you probably can attest to this, that like the songs you're like, oh, this song is like whatever, it's like it's not my best, but it's a good one. Like that one will be the one that gets a hit, or like just the one that you worked really hard on. This is gonna be the best one, and that one doesn't do that good. And you're like, well, shit, I don't really know. A lot of times it's like it's just so subjective, art and music, that you don't know what's going to be a hit. So like you might as well just dump it out there and see what kind of catches.
And
Which
yeah.
I kind of had that approach this winter. Like I had my remix for Red Letter, and then I had Dancing in Daydreams, which was my first ever actual solo single, and that did really well. And then this winter, I had like a couple ideas that were there's more variety. So I was like, all right, these are close to finish. Let me put them out, gauge what kind of works, what doesn't. And then it's kind of sick. I think now I have a couple songs in the queue there where all those sounds and sensibilities come together. But yeah, it's definitely hard. I want to put everything out, but I don't want to put everything out because at the same time I don't want to overwhelm other people, and I don't want to overwhelm myself.
Mm-hmm.
The past couple months I had a bunch of different ideas, and I was like, oh, I need to get this done, this done, this done. And kind of up until recently, like the past couple weeks, I've been like, all right, let me just one at a time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense because you tend to release like singles more so, like which actually works in today's favor of just how music is released. Because sometimes if you have an album, certain songs just get buried, and then and they never really because it's like a whole album you got to listen to, and that's kind of what goes back to what I was saying with like when I release stuff. Sometimes I like the album format because I can just like have tracks on there that they're not filler, but they're not necessarily like I think the shining ones are not. But when you have like so you can like kind of bunch them all together, and that ends up being nice because then you get to release them all. But when you do a single, it like really highlights the one song, and it kind of ends up I think being a better push for that single song, and like it just gets more. It's like the one song, it's not like on an album you click and there'll be the first song and then there's 10 more songs. So you got to like either listen to them or pick which one. So I think the single method, like it kind of like I kind of want to start doing more just single releases because you kind of inspired me to do that because like it ends up being just kind of fun, and it's also like not that it's less work, but sometimes like putting a whole album out can be kind of daunting. You're like then every song's got to at least not suck, and every song's got to be like, all right, this one's going to be a good one or a bad one, or it can just have like a flow of an album, like you can have interludes, intros, outros, and stuff. But I know from my perspective, like the album stuff for me was just like now I want to start doing kind of more your style where it's just like putting out singles because then it ends up being like I don't know, it kind of gives you more of a wide range of work and you get to like focus on the one song.
Yeah, so usually what happens is I write a bunch of material all in a short period of time, and I have these huge concepts. Like even recently I had like an EP concept. There's like 5 songs, and then I just get bogged down in like all the details and like trying to make things cohesive and perfect, whether it be art or like the sound. So like the overall storytelling of it all, and then I end up just getting super frustrated, and I think it's part just patience. Like I'm just not patient enough to do an album or like a collection of songs. Especially right now, I just want to be putting out a nice amount of music for people. But that's always kind of been the goal. Like even back in the San Diego days, I remember I wrote a full like 6 or 7 song EP with like a full concept video stuff, visual stuff, the whole thing. And I just got so overwhelmed with trying to make everything match that I got over it.
Yeah.
Doing singles is nice because it's one project, one theme, one idea, and I can move on to the next one and put all your time into that. I mean, but maybe like the collection of ideas, the things that I don't release, I might be like, oh, these kind of fit together, and it's a lot easier to maybe do an album that way. So,
and it's almost kind of like what?
I don't have the patience, I think. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, I mean, you really are like kind of I would say perfectionist, because I definitely struggle with that as well. Like I sound like a disease saying it, but it's definitely a good thing when you finally do, when you finally do pull the trigger. Like, because I think back when in your mission days, you were still a perfectionist, but Guilty?
I don't ever want. I'm not a perfectionist because I don't have the skill set to make things perfect. I would say more. I want to be a perfectionist, and it's almost more frustrating because I know I'm not. Does that make sense? It to sound perfect, yet I don't have all the tools and skills to make it that perfect. So that's almost what drives me even more crazy. It's just being caught in that like a weird limbo where I want to be a perfectionist to get things done, but I don't have quite the skills and all that to do it. Does that mean picking up what I'm putting down there, Tree?
Yeah, no, definitely, man. Because it's exactly because I think I'll sum it up by like a quote Gibbs told me, the artist Gibbs, so Mike Gibney would say, like a song to him is never finished. He just becomes satisfied with it.
150%.
You know, like, so it's never actually perfect nor finished. And, there's little things you always, it's never, but at some point you're like, all right, I got to ship it and move on because, I'm going to drive myself crazy. And even like the tiniest things like, all right, how loud and how high EQ'd should this hi-hat be? And you can sit there for a day just messing with the volume and the EQ meter just to make this hi-hat a certain way. And then in the end, it's like, yeah. What'd you say?
No one ever notices except for you. Like, I'll even change a bunch of stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
People that are into music thinking that they're going to be like, oh, like this is different or fix this. And they're like, oh, this is dope. Or this is bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like I mean, even like Russ Liquid, another artist, like I remember he used to show me stuff and I would be like, man, like your drums are the best. Like I love your drums. And he'd be like, dude, I think those are like the worst part about my music. So again, it goes back to you'll never know. What?
It's funny how that works. Like, when it comes down to it, it's all just the feel, Especially, like I said, with like Dancing in Daydreams, when I hear that song, there's 3,000 things that I want to fix. And almost it's cringy. Like, I hate when people play my music or, like, send me my music. But I will say that song, like, the feeling I was going for, I got. Which is why I was like, I'm just going to ship it out.
Yep, exactly, yeah, yep. Because, you would have went back and tried to fix all those little things, and then it would have went out, and then you would have found a bunch of other things. Like, it never ends.
Like, fixing isn't even the word. It's literally just tinkering. Because...
Yeah.
it never quite gets there, or your ideas change over time. Like, if I'm working on a song for a couple weeks or months, I'm then also listening to other music, or you get new ideas, and then it just starts to change and morph. It's like painting, except you just paint over that painting over and over again with a new thing. So, yeah, definitely have tried to learn to just ship it out.
Yeah. You're getting good at that, man. I mean, I'm looking at your Spotify right now, and you got, a bunch of, pretty new releases. You got this Eyes Wide Open track's got a crap load of plays. You got a new release, Out of My Mind, that I had on my reel just a second ago. What?
I said semi-new, thank you. Thank you for playing it as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, dude, it's... Because considering it, that's what's so funny. You've been making music for so long, but you've only been releasing music with, the last couple of years in terms of, like, onto the streaming stuff besides, like, just Spotify or SoundCloud. But, like, you had a pretty, pretty big, don't let it get to your head, but, you're a pretty big deal now. So it's pretty cool, man. And I'm, like, super stoked for you. Because, like, I know it's not like this is, like, an overnight thing. Like, you've been working your ass off for years and years and years, and now you're just such a professional that you can you make it look easy,
Well, thank you for the kind words, Steve. I wouldn't inherently agree with all that. I wouldn't consider myself a professional or anything like that. It was cool the first, like, 2 or 3 songs. Like, I don't know, we all kind of set expectations or like, oh, I hope it does this many plays or this many people view it, whatever. Like, we all have our little personal expectations, and it was sick. Like, the first 2 or 3, like, did way better than I expected. I think Dancing in Daydreams, I told myself like 1,000 plays by the end of summer, and I'm like thrilled. And yeah, and I think it's at like 17 G's now, which like which in like the Spotify world is pretty like isn't that good, but for me it was like insane. And then it was weird this winter, like after following up with like my first two that were really good, the other ones didn't quite do as well. So then you start to kind of question, like, is it a me thing? Or what's wrong here? Like, is it the music? Is it marketing? Is it all the above? So that was a little weird. And not weird, but coming into, like, my newer stuff definitely played a role in my mindset. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because, like, I mean, you want your stuff to do good, and then you don't want to, like, I mean, it's like kind of like the sophomore slump or something, you know? Like, it's hard for an artist once they like kind of have a little hit to, like, you know, like lightning strike twice. It's like kind of that's a difficult feat for like any of the arts, especially like musical artists, because you know part of them wants to kind of like evolve a little bit. They already have like a fan base that wants one thing, you know, they maybe have another thing, and it's like. Yeah, especially after, like I said, like some success, then it's hard because you want like that every time. It's kind of like when you know, anything, like you're getting like 100 likes on a new post on your Instagram, like your next post, you want to at least get 100 likes and then a little more.
Yeah,
like
you have your
building.
Threshold. Yeah,
and like when you're,
So for me,
because I know.
I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off.
You're good.
Yeah, I just, at that point, like, I had this arbitrary threshold in my head. And I'm like, oh, I have to do this. And like progress, it sucks because I feel like with progress, we just think of it as like this linear thing. And like even most of the time, I'm like realistic enough to know like it's not like this. There's backwards turns, plateaus, downward, whatever. But it's hard to kind of separate that. And so I definitely found myself, especially this winter, like COVID, bored out of my mind, only thinking about music and like the metrics part. Which I think is the worst thing to do, but you do it. Like, I just do it, and it sucks.
Yeah.
And I think it applies to anything. Like, we want to make everything like this quantitative upward slope, but that's just, it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, there's some, like, meme or picture, it's like, what you think success is, and it's this, and then, like, what actually success is, and it's like, to get to the, no, exactly right. It's like, and especially that's why I think like having like the long-term goal, like your vision or even like a 5-year plan. I mean, it sounds kind of hippy dippy, but then that'll actually keep you kind of pursuing it when you have the little bit of like downs or the losses. You like, all right, this was a loss, but my, you know, I know my goal in the future is to like be this thing or to at least have this portfolio of art or just be this kind of person. And I know like I'll have some losses, but if I keep pushing towards this like shining goal, that can at least like kind of like illuminate the path and I can still continue even when I'm getting like, you know, kicked over and stomped and all that, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I 150% agree. And I think for me, the big change again, like I was like many other people where like you get caught in the social media, Instagram bubble where you got dudes like Gary V or whoever like spouting this stuff on like hustling and progress. And for me, I started doing goals and everything, but a lot of them were, like I was saying, like metrics based. Like I wanted to get this platform to this number of people or like this song to this number of this. And for some people that works. For me, I don't think it works. And I think I'm more driven and my goals get done when it's more like broadband ideas and more towards not like the lifestyle, but sort of where like I know I'm reaching more people. I don't need a number on it. Or like I know more people are enjoying it or I'm doing this more. I don't have to put a number on it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's like when you're surfing and you're learning to surf, you know you're not going to be good right away. I mean, I guess when you're learning, it's a different mindset, but like after you've surfed for 20 years, you can look back and be like, oh wow, like I've surfed for 20 years, like that's pretty cool, and like you're really good. And you see someone out there who's like surfed for like 6 months, and like they're pretty good, and they're like, oh well, how long you been surfing? And you're like, oh, 20 years. They're like, oh my god, like it seems like it's a crazy time.
It's more of a sustainable
But yeah,
mindset for sure.
Exactly, like yeah, the long haul. Like you're in it for the long haul, and like the little wins and losses don't matter. In the end, what matters is like the end, not even the end result, just like the lifestyle. Like you said, the lifestyle. It's like, or even just saying like I'm a musician. You know, like it does. You don't even have to have songs out or plays out. We got Scottrick in the chat.
to be a musician, you know, it's
Scotty K.
like that's just kind of like evidence from other people. But
Well, yeah,
and that's why, yeah,
like you could do like gimmicky stuff, get 100,000 plays on a song, and at the end of the day, like I wouldn't. This is gonna sound kind of hipster, or whatever, but like that doesn't make you an artist. Like you just had one really great song, which is an amazing thing. But there's like that longevity and like putting yourself in that ballpark over time, and having that long-term resume, which I think then makes you an artist. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah. Like it's easy to be like not easy, but like a one-hit wonder, you know. Like it's kind of like
I don't want to say it's easy because we're all striving to put out a hit.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I guess like part of the goal.
Well, yeah, it's easier, not easier, but it's harder to be like an Eminem than to be like a, I don't know, like an '80s song that was a one-hit wonder. Like it's still hard to do that, but to have more than one hit, like we were saying earlier, that's super challenging. And like, but you're never gonna get there unless you just kind of keep doing it. You know, like you keep making your music, you keep making your videos, etc. So I think that stuff's super interesting because I want to bring that to my next question because so it seems that like the public doesn't really inspire you to make music. It's more so yourself. And where do you think like what inspires you to like really make music? Like why do you make music?
Oof. Why do I make music? Um, Corny cliche answer, super fun. Super corny cliche answer. It's like my form of reading or painting or sculpture, like anything to kind of just get away, be creative, put ideas and emotions into that sort of space. I think the origins of it, honestly, like I was like enamored when I was like 14, 15, 16, blog house, like going on every low-key YouTube page, blog page, and finding like really cool music. And also the surf scene back then. You would know this. Modern Collective, Stranger Than Fiction, all those surf videos. I remember the surfing was sick and like the editing was sick, but the music, I was like, this is dope. Like that'd be
Yeah.
so sick to do that. Like write a song and give it to someone to put in a surf video. I don't know why, but that clicked in my head. And so the idea of like, I think subconsciously, like making something and having that sort of effect on someone where they're like, oh, this is really cool. I want to try to do this, or this makes me feel a certain way. Those are all the cliche answers, but I want to say that keeps me going. But more so,
Yeah,
it's just
definitely.
fun. Like at the end of the day, it's just super fun.
Well, it's funny because like it's a hard like I used to say to myself like inspiration is a lie or it's not even like real because like when I'm making movies and music like I'm not going to sit around and wait to get inspired or wait to get motivated. You just kind of almost you have to kind of make it a habit and like you can build that habit from inspiration, but then it gets to the point where you're like, all right, I got to like sit down and make some music. Like, oh, I might not feel like making it or but you kind of do it anyway. And lately I've been actually getting more inspired, but it's usually from other people. Like when I watch people's YouTube videos, even like the hero's journey thing, I got the idea because I'd watch a lot of YouTubers who were like, they had small channels, but I liked how they kind of just almost had like a daily like vlog style. And a lot of them had like the shittiest mics. They didn't even have a mic. They had used their phone. It looked horrible, sounded horrible. but I would still sit there and watch them and like be stoked on the next video. And I realized like what I really liked was like their journey they were doing. And you could tell some days they didn't want to do it or whatever, but they were kind of just like they like had made something that they do habitually. So I think when you combine like the habit with being inspired, that's when you get like the secret sauce. But like a lot of people, like that's why that question's kind of funny, I think, because you get and like because you're like, well, dude, I'm not really inspired anymore. Like this is just what I do now. Like it's like kind of it's surfing. Like we don't get inspired to go surfing. We love it and it's what we do. So it's kind of funny how, but a lot of people that aren't really like in a craft for a while, they'll usually ask, or they'll be like, man, how do I get inspired to do this? Or like, how do I get motivated to like do this thing? And it's like, in the end, you just got to keep doing it, doing it, doing it. You become a master, and then you just do it. And you can grab little bits of inspiration, but in the end, it's like, you got to do the 10,000 hours, and then you can do the 10,000 hours, and then you can like, get mini inspirations. But you can't wake up every morning like, all right, what's going to inspire me? Like you kind of go about your day and you get inspired by stuff you see and hear. And so I think you're similar because you didn't, yeah.
I was gonna say, do you have though like little things that you notice that probably get the wheels turning more than other things when it comes to like? Because I definitely agree. Like most of the time, I just write music because I'm like, oh, let's write some music, or like I actually write better in the morning, like when I first wake up. But there are certain things that induce the process a little more, or kind of just like catalyst a little bit. I don't go out searching for those things, but in hindsight, I realize they help a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So now you'll have like your yeah, like exactly, like inspiration comes, you're not necessarily like searching for it before you start creating. Like like what I usually do is I just write down notes, on sticky things, and then like like I have these are just everywhere in my place, just all these, and then I'd either crumple up when I'm done and throw it out, but like then it gets out of my head, and then later on when I'm like, all right, what are some of those ideas I had? Oh, this idea was cool. So it's like just kind of like grabbing inspiration where I find it and then putting it aside, and then when I need it I can kind of use it. But
I guess
Now,
my
those
point
notes,
was
is
like,
that more visual stuff, or is that music and audio stuff, or both?
kind of both. I mean, with music, I actually work more so as like I'll somehow get like a melody, and then I'll sit on the melody for sometimes months, and then I'll finally put it to paper. Or I sit down to make a beat and I just make one up on the fly. Those are the two ways I kind of work with it. And maybe I am using music that I've heard, but lately my go-to has been like, I'll kind of figure out something, a melody, and then sometimes I'll record it into my Zoom, like with my voice, just to remember the melody. And later on, I'll try to like recreate it.
and I feel like that's been
I
kind of
need
fun.
to start doing that. I know everybody does that, and
Okay, yeah.
I thought like not everybody, but like I think Charlie Puth maybe
Oh,
definitely
really? That's what he
100%
said
does
too?
that.
Oh, damn.
I'll get that sometimes, but where like I have a melody or an idea in my head, I never record it. Usually
Yeah.
everything's kind of spontaneous. Just like sit down, go from here. I'm a big cinema person, and like when I write music, I'm thinking of a place, like a specific, like almost like geography, and like what I think that place in that moment sounds like, and then over time I'm like, oh, this fits that energy, and then I go from there.
Yeah,
Like
sweet. Yeah.
I like approach it more like a movie than like a song, which I don't know if that's good or bad or whatever, but
That's sweet. No, and it's funny because me as like, a movie maker as well, like it's funny how I never do that. I like it's super separate for me. Like it's like the audio, and there's no visuals associated. So it's interesting how like that you do it that way, but for me it's like it's always just like an after the fact. That's crazy. That's cool.
everything is a visual, and that's kind of what induces, like if I'm doing like the arrangement of a song, I think about it cinematically, and I think that helps kind of dictate the direction and the energy a little bit more.
That's a good idea, even because then it probably helps you. Like that's actually kind of your inspiration and motivation. Like, all right, I'm gonna get this song to be sounding like this green grassy forest, or to sound like this cityscape with shoes hanging over top the rope, or the grassy sea leaves in the ocean. Like because when I look at your album art, you're right, it really does match the songs good. And dude, your album art is awesome too. I mean, obviously some of these are film, right?
All of them, if I remember correctly, I think are film, or definitely most of them.
I mean, dude, these are sick. And I mean, you and maybe your brother shoot some of these, or and what are you guys shooting this stuff on?
I think if I remember everything on like Spotify, I think I shot, and I just use a point and shoot like 35 millimeter basic film camera.
Is it Canon?
No, or one of them is. I have a Canon one. I have a Nikon one and another one, all of
Wow.
which are broken in some regard. Whether it be like buttons don't work, shutters don't work, lets in light through like the trap in the back a little bit, so you get like weird effects and stuff. So they're all broken, which I kind of like it though, because you get weird things that you never think of in Photoshop.
Yeah, like even like is that somehow how like some of the color burn stuff happens?
Yeah, some of it's intentional, like the Dancing and Daydreams artwork. I
Yeah.
was at a local beach shooting a bunch of photos, purposely opened up the back, let some light in, shot a bunch of photos, and that's how I got the light leak in that one. But
That one's really
intentional,
cool,
like
yeah.
intentional in the sense where like I wanted there to be light leaks. How they end up coming out is like a whole nother thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's like a happy accident sometimes, and like it's funny because like I used to do more film stuff, but now I'm just fully, SD cards, and it'd be nice to have like a film camera around, but it's funny, man. I like don't like it's good for people like you that are still doing it because it just has this aesthetic that a lot that you just can't recreate with digital. It's just like I mean you could, but you can tell like it's like I can tell these are shot on film.
And that look
Yeah,
is,
part of
in
it
the
is
end,
like the
yeah.
feel and like the texture, and I think it matches my music. Part of it is just fun. Part of it is honestly like, not to get hippy dippy on everybody, but in the age we live in, like everything's so instant, and everyone, like if you're at a party, everyone's taking pictures. If you're at a concert, everyone's taking pictures. And with taking film pictures, like it's nice to do it, forget about it, and then a month later, I'm like, oh, like this party, I totally forgot about it. And it just pushes back all that excess that you always have in the front of your head. You know what I mean? Like making everything look cool, everything look perfect. Kind of like we were talking about with actually producing music and mixing music. Like it's one space where I don't feel like it has to be perfect. Like you get what you
Yep.
get, you don't get upset, and usually you get weird shit you would have never imagined.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good point because it's funny. Hey, like everyone has everyone has a camera now in their pocket, the phone, and like it's just like, but the film you actually have to like have some thought, and then when you take it, it's like a one and done. It's like riding a wave in the ocean. It's like it's done.
Shooting 35 pictures in 10 minutes and picking the favorite. Like you're taking your time and you're shooting stuff you want to shoot and take a chance on, which is pretty sick.
Yeah.
Shout out Jay Carlisi, what's good, what's poppin', Big Boy Jay in the
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Um, yeah, man. Because okay, so I know you have maybe let's do a little plug of your festival coming up. So I know you're planning at a festival in like a month. So what's up with that?
It's in a week, next Saturday.
In a week. Oh, shit.
Yeah,
What's
but
today? Damn. Wow.
yeah, pretty hyped. Shout out to the guys at Rock the House, Billy and
And
the
what's the
crew.
festival called, and what are some of the details?
So Rock the House, it's at Camp Ramblewood in Maryland. Um, if you know like Dirty Bird Camp Out and
Mm-hmm.
those the festivals. It's kind of from what information I've got, catered and structured the same way. I want to say originally it was 14 artists, but I think it's grown a bunch since then. I think now there's like 21 or something like that. It's only one day. You go
Yeah.
day, camp out, have a good time, get some free music, or not free music, but live music. And Sunday, everybody's out.
That's sick. That's sick. And you said it is camp out?
Yeah, even your boy.
That's sick, dude.
Camp out, probably bring a tent. They have cabins too. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it big.
Dude,
I'm gonna
that's
get my
sick.
dead
Yeah,
and
so
co.
people go. Get your what? You broke up.
I said, get my dead and co on and get the tent out.
Dead and go.
Yeah. Get hippy dippy with it. I mean, it'll be nice to be back. Like, I mean, music festivals like that used to be like my bread and butter, especially the outside camp ones. Like, just so much fun, and like you just feel like you're home, and you're like, where else would I want to be than outside? It's sunny, it's great. Oh, we got Jimmy Bay in the house. Jimmy Bay.
Jim, hey,
Yeah.
throwback OC. What's good?
Yeah.
Mission Beach
Got
Coffee.
the OG, my dude. What's up, Jimmy?
Yo, hold on, real quick, Jimmy. The other day, you posted a story on your bike, and you were riding on bricks. And I swear to God, I thought you were doing witchcraft because you were riding straight, but it looked like you were going absolutely horizontally. And I need an explanation, or else I'm calling the cops. We're gonna have to send
Let's
some
hear it.
witchcraft, dude. That was insane.
Let's hear it, Jimmy.
Please explain in the comments, or else I'm making a call.
Let's see what he says.
But yeah, side note.
He said I tripped too.
Like, on drugs, you mean, or you tripped your body? This is a PG. This is PG, Jimmy. You gotta.
Choose your words wisely, Jim.
Yeah, this is for the little kids.
Marky P gets it. Yo, shout out Christy joining in.
Yeah, Christy. Got all that glitters. If you want some jewelry, you got all that glitters. Tricked my mind. Oh, cool. Yep. Sweet. Oh, tricked. Tripped. Christy said psychedelics or PG. Okay.
Facts.
A bit controversial, but controversial.
With it.
What'd you say?
I said I'm with it.
Yeah. I mean, the whole microdosing thing, it's like funny how, like, they're really, like, I bet in 5 years they're gonna start, like, you either you want to get on SSRIs or you can get on mushrooms. Like, it's really good, or you can get on.
Of conversations you hear in the news, Netflix, social media, whatever, about mushrooms and depression, or mushrooms helping with this. Not to be that guy, but I'm going to kind of say that if the ball keeps rolling, similarly with weed and other products, eventually it's going to become normalized in some fashion. Whether that's 5 years or 35 years, that's outside my pay grade. But I wouldn't complain about it.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think it's like, in the end, it's, the more choices we have for that, the better. And it's like, when your only option is to kind of take like the more serious drugs like that, then like the harder, psychiatric drugs, it's like, well, what if I don't want to do, what if there's, so it's nice that there's other options coming up, and the stigma, I think just legalizing weed kind of helped the whole stigma kind of get lifted.
Diversity is key, Treve, in every capacity of life. Diversity is a good thing.
Yep.
Big
exactly.
Dog knows about that.
You said Andy does?
Yeah, Andy knows about that.
Yeah, we got Andy Carter in the chat. He's the tallest surfer in California, and charges huge waves.
Anywhere? Is he the tallest strictly in California? How far does this Guinness World Record go? How far can we take?
Yeah, and maybe it is bigger. Yeah, what do you think, Andy? Or what?
And don't act
think
like
you're the tallest.
Hated Andy.
Yeah.
Like
Now he went silent.
Tallest in the United States. Tallest that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. What we got Tyler Riley here really popping in here. Let's keep this going. So we're one second, my camera said internal temp high. That's not
Turn the
good.
heat down,
One
Tree.
second.
You getting that
One
can?
second. Yeah, 1 second. That was weird. My Sony's never done that.
Jay Carlisi says world. Let's start a poll in the comments. I'm saying world record too.
Oh, for Carter? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow, my Sony is freaking out over here. Give me 1 second, y'all. This has never happened.
And
This never happens. You know, that's what she says or you say.
And you were
What'd you
worried
say?
that I would be without all the professional gear.
I know, yeah. Oh my God, this has never happened before. So give me 1 second to. We'll keep it going. If I have to, I'll use the rest of. Oh yeah, my camera's like really messing up here. Let's see here. Record. Wow, heat warning. All right. Well, that's all good. Let's use the recording from the iPhone or whatever. Because that is weird. I think I need to turn on the heat. There's like a heat setting to make sure it's not super hot, and I turned it off. So I need to turn that on. So there you go. You learned your lesson. Yeah, luckily it's recording on here too. Yeah.
Yeah, put it in.
I don't know if I'm at. Put it in
Again, Tree.
See, so it's hot. Yeah, that's crazy, man. It's not even that hot in here. Wow, that sucks. I've never had that actually happen. That's nuts.
First time.
Maybe because it was hooked up to the computer as well. There you go. See Murphy's Law, like we were talking about earlier.
It's the intense conversating that we're having. The conversation.
This is great, man. I appreciate it again. Yeah, let's because I was gonna say maybe wrap it up before the hour, but we're already there. Let's just keep it going, dude. Because I had a few more questions I wanted to get to. So,
dude, throw them out.
Because I know you and your brother, you guys do a lot of like video work as well these days, right? With your company, Sani Creative.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real, and I'm gonna say majority of that is Sean. I'm more vice president, assistant, substitute teacher. You know, Robin to Batman sort of thing. But yes, definitely have a lot of work. Or not a lot, but we've definitely been working a lot more.
Sweet. And what's kind of your main like kind of clientele, or what's kind of the main focus of with the video stuff? Like just kind of like surf stuff and some like artistic like realism. Because I mean, it's because a lot of the stuff you guys shoot. I know you have the look. My camera looks to be maybe alive again. I know a lot of that stuff you guys shoot is on film. I know you have the GH4 as well.
Mm.
But let me plug this back in. But I know the photography stuff like kind of goes on your film stuff too, and it's pretty cool how like a lot of that stuff looks really good, man. Is that Super 8?
Yeah. So in addition to my point and shoots, I do own a Super 8 camera that is also broken. But yeah, the part that rotates the film as you record like skips. So I get weird light leaks and weird transitions and clips skip when I get it developed. So it is kind of like a blessing because it's not something you could really do in Premiere Pro or Photoshop, anything like that.
Yeah, because and it's funny. It's the same. Like I remember when I was shot like film school stuff on Super 8 for the first time. First of all, I was all way underexposed, so I had to when you push the stop, in post-processing. And I remember my film teacher and this was even when I still knew what I was doing, but it's funny because you have to kind of measure it's just way harder. Because first off, if it doesn't have an eyepiece, it might, but what you're seeing isn't necessarily what you're gonna get. You gotta really you gotta have a meter and measure it and kind of guesstimate what you're gonna need to shoot. But it's really hard, so it's way harder than it looks.
For the lighting, you got to pay attention to lighting. I don't really do any of that. I kind of just shoot what I like, shoot what I want, get what I get, don't get upset, make do with what I have. But it's fun, man. Again, it's nice shooting stuff, shipping it out, waiting a couple weeks, and taking the risk. But my footage usually comes over way too overexposed. Like if I got 3 minutes of footage back, usually like half of it, if not more, is just gone. Or not gone, but not really usable because my camera's broken. But the parts that are usable come out pretty insane.
Yeah, and I always get, for some reason, I can never remember if it's overexposed or underexposed, which one is which.
Overexposed would be too light, too bright. Underexposed would be dark.
Cool, yeah. I don't know why I can never, because I always think like overexposed means like the iris is, it's kind of gets confusing, but it's funny how like, okay, so your stuff ends up being too bright sometimes.
Or like it'll just be a white screen with like almost stick figure-y looking stuff going across, which could be
Dan.
But
yeah, that sucks because and that's why like I've really just converted fully to digital, and it's funny how like besides the artistic value, it's just almost just too, there's so many freaking variables that it's like just kudos to like, because I know it's just cool that you and even like the video stuff, you guys are using a lot of film, and that's like, it's pretty unique now, like
it's not
fancy.
Lucky
Sean, when it comes to the film, develops most of my stuff, so that cuts the cost down a little bit, you know what I mean? A little on the price of the house, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Super 8, especially to get developed, is super costly. I don't want to say super.
How much?
The place I sent to is usually $80-ish a roll.
Oh man.
Yeah, plus taxes, plus buying the film itself is like $45. You know what I'm saying?
That's insane.
Yeah, so for me to get a roll of film developed, I'm spending like over $100.
Oh my god, yeah. I completely forgot just the cost. Like I was just thinking only about like the technical hardships, but yeah, you're right. It like costs a lot too, and I mean, it makes sense why, like, big movies are now, like, using reds, and it's, like, less... I mean, a lot of movies now, they're not even made on film. They're just made on, like, REs and reds and stuff, and it's hard to notice the difference. But yeah, I can't even imagine, like, actually making, like, a full movie with all film. Like, to me, that's, like, insane.
And, like, now you know why they're so expensive, too. Like, your little thing was only... Oh my god! Like I'm super thankful for the digital revolution, even though
like messing up shots and having to redo them. Like, nah, dude.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing it in doses, but to do like a full cinematic piece like that would be awful.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Because even the music video I made in my Super 8 music video was only 3 minutes, but even that was like just so much effort. And then when a bunch of it was like underexposed, and my teacher knew, she was like, we gotta like go up 2 stops, even though I was like, oh, maybe go up 1. We went up 2, and still it was still kind of dark. But like, yeah, what if you went and shoot $100 of film and then it's all like not even good? You're like, well, fuck. Like,
I've had that happen a couple times. Last summer, I spent like 3 weeks in New York, shot only really film photos, only Super 8 film of all the protests, all the group events, anything for George Floyd, BLM, the whole thing. So I'm looking at like a month's worth of footage, shipped it out, got it back, and I only really got half of it to look presentable. And
oh my god!
The photos, tragically, I gave to a certain person in my family. I'm not going to name names, but they also shoot film to develop. They never developed them. I ended up shooting over those photos and double exposing them.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that sucks.
That's the risk you take. But again, I think it's worth it a lot of times.
I forgot you could even do that. So did any of those like come out, or like is it just too much going on?
There's a couple that I thought about like posting and everything. It's just awkward because they were double exposed with photos of me on snowboard trips and like stuff that goes completely against the message and meaning of the protests. So I think it would really kind of disintegrate the message.
True, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, like it's a serious matter. Then it's you like shotgun at a beer in the woods.
Snowboard.
Yeah, exactly. So there's like literally one of me at like a restaurant, and I'm like eating pasta, and it's like double exposed over like this woman with like a great sign, and it sucks.
Yeah,
You know?
jeez, yeah. Dang,
Um,
that stinks though. Wow.
in theory, it's cool, like to see the
Yeah,
juxtaposition
yeah, yeah.
of like what a year is. Like on a personal level, I think it's cool to see like where I was then, what people were doing then, and then whatever 6-7 months later. But yeah, not something I can really.
Yeah.
We got to shift gears a little bit. So, and so, if you had to describe your music, like what genres would you kind of describe your stuff as?
I don't know, man. In my head, in like some way to just put some sort of bubble and like restraint on myself, I always just say beach disco.
Sweet. I like that. Yeah.
And like the artists that I usually listen to or play are like a similar vibe. Like things you could like play hanging out in your backyard with your friends at like a barbecue. You can dance if you want. You don't have to dance, but you're grooving. You could play it in a surf video.
Yeah.
You could play it at
Oh,
a bar.
interesting. Okay.
It's not like rager music, you know.
See, because that's funny, yeah. Because I think your music, like, I know in a lot of my music I make, it's like almost intended to be background music. But I wouldn't ever say your stuff's background music. I mean, your stuff is just, it's definitely a forefront. I mean, it could be in the background as well. But I know what some of the songs I make, I just almost intend them to be like, you don't focus on them that much. It's almost like, you're doing your homework and you got the song playing in the background. What's up, Steph? But, and then there's other songs, they're so complicated and layered and stuff. Like, if you can really get in there and listen, you're like, oh, wow, there's a lot going on. Sometimes when there's, especially when there's vocals and stuff, that adds a whole another layer of like of intensity, which is great when it's a standalone song and someone's DJing it or you're DJing it. But then if sometimes like you're DJing like just kind of a more simpler song, it's kind of like, all right, like I want to focus on something else and have this be like so a lot of times I'll be like, yeah, making music you do your homework to, or like you work out to, stuff like that. So it's funny you say that, because yeah,
I think I'm in a similar boat where I wanted. I don't even want to say I want to, just my natural sensibilities when I write and like the muscle memory is I want dance elements, but I don't want to write songs that are made for a dance floor or a club. I want it to be background, but you can dance if you want. It'll make you want to dance, but you don't have to. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah.
So I take a lot of dance elements, but usually like the tempo I'm at is way slower, or the elements that would make a dance track when I incorporate them are a little more subdued, probably, or a little bit less of a focus.
yeah. So let's because when your stuff is kind of like, yeah, like beach disco is or like what'd you say, beach disco?
That's what I call
You
it
called
to
it beach
myself
disco?
in
I like
private.
that. Beach disco.
Well, it's cool. I mean, it's kind of like a lot of band. Like a really good thing to do as a band is you almost like create your own genre. Like I'm trying to think of a band in particular, but there's certain artists, they almost like make a genre, and like other people might hop on it. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but like I can't think of one, but like, and sometimes it can be like an obscure like name like that, and that's cool because I've never heard anyone say beach disco.
It's like a
Well, 'cause it's
cool,
not
like
really
you get
a thing.
almost.
Literally, I just took a place. Like I like disco music. When I write, I usually take a lot of influence from disco, but there's like this ambient element to the music that I write. Like kind of like how like an artist like Poolside or someone uses disco and house, but there's like loads of reverb, loads of delay. It's lower tempo. You can dance if you want, but you don't have to. And it's feel good. It's always like a feel good song. So yeah, I don't even know where I was going with that. I fully just cut you off and started babbling.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, Feel Good Incorporated. I mean, I guess I was just saying like people that can. I couldn't think of a band, but like bands that almost create a genre. Um, I mean, maybe even like Modest Mouse when they were first kind of doing their thing. It was like they kind of like made this like it was like indie rock. I mean, that was pretty big at the time, but I can't. There's a few in my head. I just can't think of them exactly, but
Well, like I mean, there's different ways like to go about it, and different genres, different people. Like Beatles with rock and roll. I would say kind of for me like Migos with like ATL trap stuff, Skrillex with dubstep.
oh yeah, or even like yeah, like me, like Young Thug or Migos. Like they really kind of like basically like invented kind of a genre, and then now a lot of people try to copy them. But yeah, I see. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, um, yeah. So it's cool.
I wouldn't put myself like I'm not gonna put myself in that, nor do I really think I like try to replicate people's stuff ever. But you have your natural like spongy sensibilities where you know who probably influences you on the back end, and you don't realize that you're doing that. So there's
Yeah.
elements of that I definitely share.
If you had to pick like actually a few artists that you do like try to sound like, who would you say, or just like you're like what artist would you not mind being classified as sounding like that you are trying to sound like? I guess. I know it's a weird question, but like if you had to like when you on like Pandora, it's like here's Mini Sants, here's similar artists. Like who would you kind of like to be in that area?
Um, I would say a combination. Again, these aren't related people, but I would say they probably influence ideas or things that I do, on like subconsciously almost. And they're also just my favorite artists. Um, Disclosure's on there. Kate Trinata's on there. Low Key Chromeo's on there.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
If you know Oliver, it's one guy now. It
Yep.
used to be two guys.
Oh, really? Dang. Okay.
Poolside's on there. Satin Jackets is on there. Sheesh, it's hard.
I mean, that was a bunch of good ones. Yeah.
Aeroplanes on there. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a bunch. There's so many.
Maybe even some like Breakbot.
Yeah, that whole
Kinda.
era of French house and like disco stuff. That's what
Even
literally.
Daft Punk. Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally what got me into music. So
Oh, sick. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I
the
can
whole
tell, and it's
Ed Banger Records was probably.
Yep.
And I know oh, you're breaking up a little bit. I know
the beauties of live TV. He's back.
You got
He's
me?
back. He's in a new setting.
Phone died. So
Oh,
now I'm
damn. That
back
almost
in
happened to
my-
me. Yeah.
in my
Wow, good
room
catch.
here.
You got it back on quick.
Dude, full sprint, straight to the charger,
Dude, thanks, dude.
catapulted over the bed for you. Got the charger. So we're good.
great. It's live TV is hard, man. Right? It's hard. And we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll probably end up editing this, so we'll kind of get out some of the hit bits. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I got like a bunch of stuff recording because I want to make sure that we're at least getting all the audio and most of the video. So, but yeah, and I was just saying during your phone departure about like your Dirty Bird connection now because I know you had one song that got picked up by them. So do you want to just chime in on that real quick? Because I know I mean Dirty Bird's a huge record label that kind of specializes in kind of house and techno house and disco and stuff like that. And you were lucky enough to be basically on released by them, right? So
Yeah, so I had my one song, Eyes Wide Open. It wasn't through Dirty Bird exactly. It was through Fantastic Voyage. Shout out
Okay.
Justin J. Who put out the record. He has a lot of, I mean, I don't want to speak for him. I don't know, but kind of like background and connections and works with Dirty Bird explicitly and kind of implicitly. So yeah, they
Oh, well,
also
so it's not actually so it's actually like not even it's just similar, but it's not or it's like a subsidiary of Dirty Bird or
yeah,
whatever. Or
yeah, it's
oh,
kind of
okay,
like a
okay,
sub. I don't
cool.
think they're directly affiliated. Again, I'm not involved on that side, nor do I have the knowledge. But it's like that sort of group of producers and record people probably all know each other, shake each other's hands, and go to the same parties, sort of thing. But yeah, they did have. Justin was doing a lot of virtual DJ sets back when that record came out. And Billy, aka Keystone, who I wrote the song with, had a DJ set on there that I kind of was bandmate for a little bit. So that was pretty cool, and that got on the Dirty Bird Insta.
Sick, yeah. Oh, hell yeah, sick. Sick. Yeah, that was super cool, man, because I know, like, I bet for you that was just like, wow, this is like a cool, like, I've kind of made it moment.
Like, all right, cool. Like I'm playing with the big boys.
No, it's not
The goodie room.
but how we were talking before, like there was this level of validation. Like I always thought of having a song like released by a record label was like this huge unattainable thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was always a goal, but I just never thought it was a thing. I just kind of always thought, I'd put my stuff out through my current distributor or DistroKid, something like that. And so I explicitly remember getting the email from Justin about releasing it, and I was working, and I freaked out.
Damn.
I was working at 11th Street store for 7th Street Surf Shop, and I think it was like a new girl working, and I was like, I don't even know you, but dap me up right now. And I went outside, and I was like, so.
Oh my god. That's sick. Like when you have that moment and it's like imprinted in your memory and it's kind of like, where were you? I mean, I'm not going to make the comparison, but like when you heard the COVID thing or just, usually it's like a bad thing, but that, like when it's a good thing, that's pretty cool. Like this awesome moment.
Dude, yeah, I called my mom. It was like a full thing.
You like shed a few tears? Were you like, oh, bye?
I didn't cry.
Kidding.
I probably cried. I'm pretty
Real
sure
men don't cry.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Real men have no emotions. Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty heavy. Like that was again another moment of like this validation that I had been looking for. You shouldn't look for that, but I was always looking for that. So it felt really good to have that moment. Yo, shout out Moon, aka Andy, in the comments. What's poppin'?
Yeah. Minty. Shout out Minty.
Yeah, you're right. It's funny because you don't, like at this point, it's for me too, it's like getting that validation is like a nice little cherry on top. Like when at first you kind of want it just to make sure you don't like suck or you're not like just completely blowing it. But then after you get like at least one, then you're like, all right, like, like I'm doing good, I'm killing it. And then you might not get like that same validation for the next couple ones, but at some point you'll get like an even better one.
But like that one.
Well, I would say 80 to 90% of the time where I'm like, fuck, like you suck.
Like, yeah.
It's definitely a bummer. I feel like that's more of your mindset than the latter of being positive about what you're doing. At least for myself, but it definitely it does feel good to have some level of validation. Like I said, I don't look for that intentionally as much anymore. I more just try to have the best product that I can in like a certain amount of time. But it always just feels good,
Yeah, definitely. It's like, yeah, it's funny because like, especially now, like like you were saying earlier with Instagram and stuff, like it kind of fucks with your brain and like, you put a picture up, you don't get any likes or anything, like, oh, it sucks, like I suck, like I want to take it down, or it's like you're focused more on the result of the thing. Whereas in the end, really, as an artist, like the best thing to be stoked on is when you're doing the art. And when you finish it, it's almost like just a placeholder so you can start the next project and like ship it and then don't worry about it, like, and stop checking how many views and you can check it every now and then, but I definitely suffer from that. I gotta like see how many views I got and stuff and etc. But like really ideally I ship it and then I move on to the next thing, and then if that gets, a praise and all that, like, cool, that's great. But I'm not even worried about that anymore. I'm worried about, like, the next 5 things I'm working on.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think once you kind of take the metrics out of everything you do, that thing isn't this quantitative goal that you have to reach in order to have success, you definitely start having a better time. And I think you honestly like probably put out way better work, and I think I don't always think this, I need to, and I try to, but like with music or art or even sports, it's like how you make viewers feel when you do your thing. And you're not going to see that in a number. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like,
wow, yeah.
yeah, I just thought of that now. I might have to patent that real quick. And,
Yeah, there you go.
but real talk, like,
Facts. Someone says now, facts.
like if you make a good song and it gets 40 plays, like not a huge number, but like one person in that 40 was like, yo, I fuck with this. This makes me feel really good. This helps cure my Monday. That was just pure shit. That metric is so much better than 50,000 plays where people are like, oh, this is cool, and they skip through it. So
Yeah.
it's usually you don't see with anything that are probably the better ones to think about anyway.
Yeah, and it's funny because that's kind of what I was saying earlier about like the little YouTube content creators almost inspire me more or motivate me more because like, oh look, this guy's only getting 30 plays, but like I'm still stoked on it and he still like made my day. So like I'm gonna do the same thing, and then mine will maybe just say 30 plays, but maybe one of those people is just like me watching this thing or listening to this song. So like yeah, focusing on like having the numbers, like you were saying, is in the end, it's just like a nice byproduct. It shouldn't be like your main focus, but like it is nice because then it at least gives you a little bit of feedback in the real world.
I mean, it's one thing
Yeah,
if
the
it's like,
numbers,
you
they
know,
serve a purpose. Like I'm maybe doing things right or wrong, but it's when you start to lean towards it being like your end all metric that gets really dangerous and like will fuck with your confidence or fuck with what you're doing, you know? Like some people will just completely switch what they're doing writing wise or whatever just because they think they're gonna get more plays, which is cool. Like I get that to an extent. Adaptability is good, but yeah, metrics isn't the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah, and and especially because like that's what used to kind of sell people. Like now, luckily, it's become more so like you can kind of do a lot of stuff yourself or a small team. But back in the day, like you had to have the metrics to even have a song or a video out. But now it's like because it's kind of like we're in charge now, like the actual artist. Like we've kind of taken the middleman out a little bit. And I know it's like it still kind of sucks that the industry is like harder to make it. But you still really have like way more control over if you're putting out stuff. There's really no more excuses. Like it's all like if you want to go take photos and put them out, like boom, you can do it. There's no like, oh, I'm not gonna get published or oh, I have nowhere to put them. Like now it's all up to you, and I like that part about it because it just kind of takes away the excuses, I guess. And in the end, like there's always going to be some little excuse to not do something or whatever. And yeah,
It's a crazy double-edged sword, and again, it's all mindset. Like I get bogged down sometimes because so many people make music now. Like even in the past, like I guess I started like 6 or 7 years ago, whatever. And the amount of people that produce music, put music on the internet, play shows, DJ, like the whole thing is insane. And you get bogged
yeah,
down, and sometimes I get like sad about like, oh, like you're like competing with so many people. It feels like, which sucks, but at the same time, like there is that beauty, and you have the ability to reach so many people. You have the ability to find your niche, and like most of my favorite music right now are dudes that don't have 300,000 Spotify listeners. Like some of the coolest music I think on the internet right now is dudes with 5K, whatever, like small kind dudes or girls, whoever.
yeah. I mean, it's funny because like my dad's in like a pretty big like What?
What'd you say?
He's in a pretty big what?
Oh, so my dad's in a pretty big like '90s alternative phase. So he's jamming to basically all these bands that sound like Blink 182, and he'll text me them like every day. Like he'll text me a screenshot of what he's listening to, and it's always some super obscure band that the album's from 1999 or 2002, and it's like this band you've never heard of. They have an album out 20 years ago, and it's like they're all like awesome musicians, and he's always like, these drummers are the best. He's like, how are they so good? Like all these drummers are awesome. And it just goes to show like there's so many good musicians, and even back before like the whole internet really took over that whole thing, like there was these drummers playing in these punk bands, and these drummers were like amazing artists, and they're just so awesome. But like there's so many other good ones too that it's like ends up being like when you try to compete with the other people, that ends up being like your own downfall, because in the end, like, all right, we'll do our thing, and then, we'll either fill this niche or whatever, but in the end, there's just so much talent that it really doesn't, it's not even like who's the best, it's just kind of like who gets lucky and who, like, has a break. Like, there's so many good people that,
Previously, there was way more. I mean, I don't know. I'm just some random dude sitting in his room at his mom's house, but I feel like there was such a higher level of.
You probably shouldn't have. You probably just said it's your own place, but okay.
Nah. I prefer it. I think it's funnier to.
We'll edit that out, or we'll keep it in. Ladies, he's at his mom's house in the basement.
I mean, bro, I got wrestling.
There you go.
What's it called? Chart or not charts? Whatever.
Like a thing.
Yeah, back from when I was a kid. Yo, check it
No
out.
way.
Though. Champion. And then above that, Sean, champion. Both of us, same tournament.
And that's never going to get erased.
That's probably like 2000 friggin', I don't even know, like 2005.
Is that written on with dry erase marker?
That's just permanent marker on a piece of paper.
Oh, it's permanent. Oh, I thought that was like a board and a dry erase board. Oh, that's sick.
No.
Nice. Hell yeah. The champs. Nice, dude.
But yeah, I don't even remember where we were going, but yeah, I'm at my mom's crib.
Yeah, I forgot before I cut you off.
There's so many lanes, dude.
Yeah.
And it might not bring you to like this pearly gate of, filling huge fucking stadiums or whatever. Like there was such a small exclusive group, I feel like, in music, and they would get all the pie. Now everybody has a tiny piece, so like everybody can eat.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's kind of how I look at it, because it's yeah, and like that's like the double-edged sword of the social media. Like now everyone can eat, but now everyone's eating, so it's like a bigger like pool. But in the end, but now at least you get a chance to sit at the table. Like, and you don't need to, like, you don't need to jump all these hurdles. Like, you can just sit at the table, and if you're at least good enough, then there's a seat for you, for sure. But because, like, anyone can do it as well, makes it a little more challenging. But in the end, it's kind of like, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, for me, I really enjoy it, because I know, like, making stuff in high school and even in college a little bit, like, I would work on months on this little movie, and then it would have nowhere to go. Like, YouTube finally kind of got underway, so I could go on YouTube, but there was nowhere else to go. Like, now you can put it all these places, and that's cool that there's a hub to put out your art.
Yeah, there's so many options where you can at least put it into the universe. And I think movies are a great example. I feel like, especially previously, like, you were making movies, and either they were kind of not signed to a label. What is the word I'm looking for? Like to a production company and released like probably cassette or DVD, whatever. But the avenues you had were so small. As opposed to nowadays, you could just put it on YouTube. You could just put it on Instagram. You could try to get it on Hulu or Netflix or whatever. And it's similar idea with music.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's kind of just a cool, like, where it's a cool time to, like, be alive doing this stuff because, never, even, because even 20, 30 years ago, there's like punk bands, they still had to, like, get on a record label, they still had to, go to a studio and record everything. I mean, that's still something everyone does, but like now
Yeah,
at least
even
you
getting
can,
the equipment, like
yeah.
even getting a freaking guitar or having the ability to record was a pain in the ass. Like, yeah, that is nice. The instant gratification now of being able to, like, if I want to sit down and write a song with, I don't want to say all the elements that I want, but like pretty decent amount, and like diverse instruments or whatever kind of arrangement stuff, I can do it. You know,
Yeah,
but
you
like you
don't have to
said, with
like.
that
Yeah.
accessibility, if you have the wrong mindset, it can eat at you a little bit. We were like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
literally one in a million. I'm just another fish in the big sea here.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. That can be like, yeah, like a hit or miss. I mean, even when I lived in San Diego and I was like, I want to move to LA, like it was kind of like that, moving out of like a smaller pond, and then now I'm like a smaller fish in a bigger pond. And in the end, it was a good move, but it's funny. It's just kind of like, what do you want out of it too? Like, do you want to, like, I mean, my brother, shout out Brett, DJ Baby Brett, like he's in Virginia Beach, just like slaying these shows, like a top dog on the DJ scene now. And it's cool how like you can pick like, all right, do I want to do that, or do I want to go to a bigger city and then be a smaller person, but or try to build my way up, or you can kind of pick which one you kind of just want even, and kind of go with that. It's not like you have to be like a big superstar now to do anything or to make any moves or to have anything out for public consumption. So it's like we're super lucky, but like you were saying, it's a double-edged sword. And an easy comparison is like if you're an Instagram model, like you're a girl, you're hot, you're on Instagram, like you're gonna like put out stuff, but then you're also gonna like kind of turn into like it's gonna be hard to separate yourself from your image on the social media, and that's kind of like creates the whole like even like depression and just weird like anxiety people are getting from like they don't get validation from their social media, so then therefore like they're bad and they suck. Whereas in the end, it really like I try to separate myself, and even I know you do too, because I mean, like I use my name and just kind of like seem to be myself, but I'm still kind of playing a person, and I know in the end like I shouldn't take any like judgment seriously, and I shouldn't like be too tied up into this, because in the end it's like just a way for me to get my art and expression out, but it's still not like who I am. It's just my like expressions coming out. But a lot of people, they get sucked into like, oh, that's me. Like, oh, since my post sucked, I sucked, or if my post did great, I'm great. But and like, I'm not saying I'm above that, but it's at least good to be like kind of aware of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is crazy how I do feel like we take this like stigma of usually it's the viewer looking at the viewed, and the viewer kind of has this sense of doubt or like misconception of reality. But I do think that there's the other side of it, like if like on the influencer side, where there is this level for certain people where that kind of sucks. Like if you get pigeonholed into being this person or this thing, and there's this level of expectation that could also mess with your personal health and mindset and attitude. You know what I mean? So I think there is kind of a double-edged sword, and it's cool talking about it because it's important that people differentiate between the two and see that, everyone's kind of getting fucked.
Yeah. Like no one's above it or below it. It's like it's just the nature of how these apps work, and even in like all the documentaries coming out where they were kind of invented to be addictive and invented to kind of like be this weird dopamine high, but yeah, now we're all our own brands, so we kind of have to be on them. I mean, we don't have to be, but it definitely helps if you're trying to at least have some kind of like public persona or whatever.
If you're in a field that requires some level of publicity, even if it's the tiniest amount, like you have to be in it. And it doesn't matter if you're music or you sell candles or you're construction, like you build homes. Like it doesn't matter. You kind of have to brand yourself, you know. Or if you're
Yeah,
at the
like
individual
yeah,
level, like an influencer sort of thing.
yeah. I mean, yeah, like that. Even these big companies, like I mean, they get it now, but for a while it was like, like no one's going on your website anymore. Everyone's just kind of going to your social media.
Boom, Instagram.
So
That's
it's
the first
like,
thing anyone asks.
yeah, like so,
Or
like, I,
TikTok nowadays. TikTok's popping.
yeah, yeah. TikTok's the new Instagram. It was funny how that happened so quick. I mean, it was like, oh, this app sucks, it's lame, and now it's like the new thing. Like even people
I
that were like, yeah,
fucked with TikTok, dude.
yeah,
COVID, I fucked with TikTok. I did delete it though, kind of recently, because I found myself going down the rabbit hole, and next thing you know, you've been scrolling for an hour, and you're like, this is a lot for my brain. But some of the content on there is so good.
yeah.
People are
Yeah.
funny, dude. Yeah, that people are.
There's some really funny people. And I finally got it too. For a while, I was kind of hating, but now it's I'm into it, and I just like when people are like kind of being original. I get a little not annoyed, just I'm like when like people just do the trends. Like I get it, it's cool, but like I like when someone just like is basically making like a little skit and it's all original. Like and that those are my favorite, and there's tons of that. But it's funny because the algorithm almost wants the trends more. So like if you do the trend, it's an easy way to kind of get views and stuff. So, um,
It's tough
Yeah,
because the trends and everything. Like, I hate it because I don't like the whole copycat mentality. I don't like the everyone trying to do something better than the next person mentality. But at the same time, there's random videos where you're like, damn, this person did this right.
yeah,
Whether it's like a
exactly, yeah.
voiceover or whatever, I'm like, damn, this person crushed it. So they have the opportunity. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of a lot of the trends and like that sort of format of TikTok, but some of that shit is just fucking funny, dude.
well, yeah, what happens too is you'll see one, it's really funny, and you won't even know it's a trend. You'll just laugh and be like, oh, that was hilarious. Then you'll say like, oh, this is kind of a thing people are doing now. But usually it's like that first person you see that does it so well that it almost seems like it's a just totally unique, original idea. Yeah.
Dude,
And I
that
kinda feel
algorithm is
yeah,
fucking insane too.
yeah,
Whoever over there at TikTok HQ or whatever the parent company is, I forget. They got that algorithm down to a like every time like I'm scrolling on that thing. Like Instagram, you're picking who to follow.
yeah.
TikTok, like I don't even really follow anybody. Like I only follow a couple
Yeah.
people. I would say 90% of what I consume plus was miscellaneous shit. And I would say of that stuff I'm sifting through, like probably 70% of it I was sharing with friends because I thought it was funny. I don't want to say 70,
yeah.
but enough where I was like, yo, this algorithm's got me.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and they even do like a few things like when you turn the app on, like it automatically starts playing. Like which on the other apps you notice it like Instagram, you open it, it won't just start playing. It'll like be on your home page, and then you start with TikTok. You open it, and right away it has you out a home screen. And it's a video, so right away it sucks you in, and then you're already like, which is interesting. That I forgot where I read or saw that, but I was like, oh wow, that is like a really good tool that kind of like gets you engaged and like brings you in right away.
Yeah,
And like,
because
and that's
even
how
if
you
the
get in the
video
rabbit
is
holes.
trash, like
Yeah.
that, the first like 2 or 3 seconds where you're like sifting that information, you're in, boom, you're on the app. And then once you
Yeah.
realize that video is trash, you instinctually muscle memory slide down, and you're sucked. Boom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Like,
I
right away, you're like,
deleted.
yeah.
I deleted my TikTok like a couple weeks ago. I haven't been back on.
Like,
It's been nice.
Your account, or you just deleted the app off your phone?
I deleted the app off my phone. I do that with most social media.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been
Instagram
trying to do.
included. I delete the app off my phone for like Snapchat. I'll do it for weeks at a time. TikTok, I'll do it for weeks at a time. Instagram, I try to do it for longer periods of time, but that I actually use to communicate with people, so I don't get stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, my tool is I just turn off all my notifications.
Hammy!
Like,
Shout out Ham.
there you go, Ham.
Big
Shout
Ham and
out.
Big Papa.
Dom
Tree, do you
Dorez,
know,
or
Tree, do you know Ham?
I don't think so.
Because you know a lot of OC heads.
Yeah, it sounds kind of familiar, actually.
Shout out Chris McCall, my original fake ID.
There you go. What
Big
up,
Dog
Big
got
G?
that thing for I think like a 12-pack of PBR. Made my ECU career take off.
Hell yeah, dude.
Let's go.
Um, man, I want to wrap it up, but people keep coming in.
You got more
Let's do big.
questions?
Let's
Let's wrap it up here. Let's wrap it up here. So just a final thought or two. So and what music or what DAW are you using now? Are you still using Machine?
Or do you want to reveal your
Yes.
secrets?
So I definitely still use Machine. I have a new single that I've been working on that I've done a bunch of the work recently in Ableton. I still don't
Okay.
know how to use 98% of it. I was just like cutting audio in Ableton.
Did you download a torrent or did you bought it?
Nah, I got the Big Dog shit. I went
Damn,
full
dude.
in.
Like
Yeah.
$1,000?
No, I didn't. Maybe I didn't get the G Spot one. Maybe the one below it, or maybe I did drop it. I forget. I
No,
probably had
maybe
a
it's like
discount code.
how much did you pay? Do you remember?
Probably like $600, $700.
Oh wow, yeah. That's sick though. I mean, once you get more into it too, it's like it's just the best. I mean, I still use Logic, but I kind
It's
of
pretty
went off on
sick.
Ableton.
I have Logic as well, because I wanted to try that for recording, because Machine recording is trash. I didn't really like Logic. Ableton is a little, with what I do, is a little.
Yeah, Ableton reminds me more of Machine. Logic is almost like you're editing on like a timeline, like a movie timeline.
But
It
see,
feels
even,
less like
even in Logic, I just use the arrangement view and I set it up like I do in Machine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I bought it like months ago. I just got into it like the past 2 weeks, like trying to actually sit down and work in it. So yeah, Machine is 95% of what I do, and now I'm trying to incorporate Ableton.
Sick, dude. Well, I'm stoked to kind of keep checking that out. Yeah, man. You want to any last words? I appreciate your time again. Thank you for coming on. This was a great interview. This probably will end up being 2 parts because we yammered on for a while here, and this is an awesome interview, man. I appreciate it. This went really well.
No, I mean, I don't really have anything. Hopefully I got some music coming out this summer. Hopefully I have 1 or 2 ideas that I want to put out in the fall. And I'm just more stoked hanging out, catching up with my boy Treve.
Yeah, man. Yeah, me too, man. This has been awesome. Yeah, I know we've been chatting a little bit here and there, but it was cool to kind of really kind of dive into just more of the stuff you've been doing recently, and just stoked for you, man. Because I mean, I still remember back when where I was bugging you to release stuff more and more, and now look, now you're a fucking top dog, dude. So
No,
just don't forget me when you get around the top. Don't forget your boy.
no, definitely not a top dog. And everyone at Mission Beach Coffee Break and the SD crew always got a place in my heart. I think
Well, cool, dude.
that's probably a good one to wrap on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we're still popping off in here, but we'll leave the fans wanting more. And again, this will all be, available pretty soon. I might have to break it up into a few parts for Instagram. I don't know if on the other platforms it'll be one long thing or not, but this will definitely be like on the Hero's Journey podcast stuff, which is cool. So this will actually be on like Spotify and iTunes and stuff, because now my podcast is on those.
Nice. All right, dope.
Yeah. So
Yeah, do
so
you,
be on the
brother? I
lookout for that.
process. Hopefully, I didn't say anything too dumb.
I think we're good. I'll double check if there's anything too gnarly. I can knock it out. But
Yeah, maybe
I think that one really.
we'll cut out the part on psychedelics.
Yeah. Oh no, got to keep that part. Well, yeah, cool, brother. Well, I appreciate you again for coming on, Ryan. You're the man, and dude, I'm super stoked and proud of you, and I'm stoked to keep seeing your rise as an artist. And I mean, dude, it's cool to see. I mean, shit, you've already surpassed me with all your plays and shit like that. So I'm a bit jealous, but you got the dog. You're killing it. So,
Dude, thanks,
and
Treve. You, man,
yeah.
You've kept the ball rolling with the Hero's Journey stuff, which I think is really cool. Momentum is
Thanks,
key,
dude.
brother. Ride that wave.
Exactly, yes, and we hear about 15 dogs, so
Yeah, they're going
ending
nuts.
on that. I want to make sure when I end this, I don't fuck anything up too bad. So, dude, Ryan, thanks again, man. You're the man.